usually my friends somehow arrived to the democratical opposition in the 70s from sociology, from politics, from political science, etc. Myself, it's rather from art and from avant-garde art, and I think it's a result of the idiotic Hungarian cultural policy at that time when exhibitions were banned, forbid, just because they were avant-garde or they were, they were non-figurative, so to say. And at one point, one realizes that one should do something. There were very few who were somehow technocrat, somehow, the ability of organizing, of doing something practically. So I was one of the few, and so this is the reason, that I could take tools in my hands. Making illegal printing and periodicals and books at that time, and I think even nowadays, you should avoid sophisticated techniques because you cannot fix them. I mean, I can open a Xerox machine, but no way I could fix it. But with a stencil, with this old-fashioned beginning of the 20th century, we were able to fix it, and we were able to make parts, to replace them, etc., etc., etc. This is how we decided. But the machines arrived from outside of Hungary, basically from Western Europe. And after the martial law in Poland, that means end of 81, actually in December, our Polish friends organized an unbelievable network in Belgium, in France, in Germany, and they really organized the supply of printing machines. And they were working on such a level that some smaller ones, basically they didn't need because they couldn't use. And those are the machines they provided for us, and even sometimes they themselves organized the smuggling in the machines. So it was a Polish contribution to the Hungarian samizdat, your freedom. And for a short period, those machines which were in Hungary, they went to Slovakia. And they worked in Slovakia for a couple of months because they were a little bit. The East European independent democratic oppositions started to find a connection from the very beginning. And this was very exceptional, that those people, my friends, right from the beginning, from the mid-70s, we tried to set up, to build up a network. And of course, as we were more and more successful, it became more and more difficult to keep the contact. But as I told you, all these machines, I mean, my side organizing the printing machines, actually it was one of the centers was in Paris. And I had a lot of French friends. So through them, we could contact them, and we could ask what we needed. I was banned from all the East European countries. So I couldn't go to Poland, I mean Czechoslovakia, Poland, GDR, etc., etc. To the West, it depended if I got the passport or not. Actually, I met the leader of this center of this Polish center of the practical means of printing. His name is Chojecki, and actually, which was funny, so to say, that I went to Poland in '79, I think. I don't remember exactly. But anyway, I went there to be trained as a printer, and it was Mr. Chojecki who taught me how to print and all the technical means. And a couple of years later, when I went to Paris, I got the address, and to contact the people of Solidarity. And the same man opened the door who opened in Warsaw a couple of years before. The foundation is, I mean, it depends what we think samizdat. The word samizdat was invented by a Russian poet. His name is Nikolai Glaskov. And basically, it's a kind of a nickname because at that time in Soviet Union there was Gosizdat and all this kind of things. Izdat, it means printing, I mean editing. Sam, it means self in English. So it's self-editing. Basically, it's a mirror translation. But everybody uses samizdat. Actually, I don't know if you have seen a famous movie, Andrei Rublev. The director is Tarkovsky. And if you remember the opening scene, there is a peasant, someone who is flying on a hot air balloon. This is Glaskov. So Tarkovsky gave him this role and actually it's really mind-boggling that the inventor of samizdat is the very first pictures of Andrei Rublev, and in a script you always have to give names to all the actors, and his name was the metaphorical air swimmer. That's Nikolai Glaskov. The democratic oppositions in Eastern Europe invented another thing, which is very important, that in clandestinity, it's a paradox, but in clandestinity, the being known basically protects you. And which is really a paradox comparing the other clandestine movements, because I mean, even the partisans or the people of the resistance during the Second World War, they tried to hide away as much as possible. And a couple of decades later in Eastern Europe, it's again the Polish model that if you are known, especially in the Western press, you are protected. It's much harder to arrest you because immediately there are protests in the Western press. So the idea was opening up and make yourself known more than possible, as much as possible. This is the boutique, which is totally opened up. And we distributed leaflets at the opening hours, etc., 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 and to have a kind of public meeting point. And it's not only to meet, but also, of course, this was the point. This was the occasion to be able to distribute the samizdat and to meet new people who came to this. Actually, it was my apartment, which then was confiscated. It was a small apartment, very good location. At that time, the university was just in the neighboring building, which is now the Piaris. And so we had really very good close connection with the young generation. I could even write the story of being surveyed, because it started at my childhood, because of my family, and it ended up, with the, let's say, relatively modern techniques in the 80s, and so it's there are several. Again, this is again a profession to cluster, the techniques of surveying someone, following, photographing, bugging, etc., etc. And but as I told you, it doesn't interest me. It caused not tragedies, but it harmed people very profoundly. Well, actually, I was not forced to move out, but they moved my things. The police raided the apartment and emptied. So it wasn't free decision of closing it or not. It was, and then the apartment was confiscated. I'm lucky, and not everybody was so lucky as me, but trying to be free and being successful in being free at that time, it's worse. It's worse. If I regret something, what I did, yes. I mean, it's not tiresome, but it's time-consuming, let's say. And so, for example, I couldn't read as much as I wanted.